Hello everyone, my name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about my Chivalric Fiasco, written by George Saunders. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. In this work by George Saunders, we pretty much get introduced to this medieval theme park, and the boss of this medieval theme park is his name is Don Murray. And right away, right from the get go of the short story, Don Murray is raping one of his workers by the name of Martha, and the janitor by the name of Ted, he sees this incident, but you really have to read into the short story to figure out what's going on, because it's not as detailed as other books or short stories would be with it. Usually, when something this horrific happens within a movie, within a book, there's lots of details. I mean, you would hear about blood and screams and a fight and a struggle, but the way that this rape is presented, it's just something that Ted, the janitor, he stumbles upon it, and everybody just runs away. So unless you really read between, and the other thing is Martha, the woman who's the victim here, she wants to hide this from her husband. She wants to sweep this under the rug. So as the reader, you're kind of confused. You're like, okay, was this, what was this? Because she should want justice. She should want, Don Murray, to get caught and to face punishment, but she just wants her husband not to find out. And Martha here, she feels a lot of shame, and she blames herself for all of this happening, which is very unsettling. So Don Murray, the boss of this medieval theme park, what he does is the next day, after this rape, he brings in Ted and Martha into his office, and he's like, all right, you guys are getting promotions, because he just wants to, Don Murray just wants to end this whole situation. He wants to hide it. He doesn't want anybody to find out about it. So he gives Martha and Ted incentives to pretty much keep their silence. And so he gives them better positions at work. Ted, he's a janitor, so he moves Ted up, he moves Martha up, and he pretty much is telling them, keep your mouth shut, this doesn't get out. Martha doesn't want it to get out because she knows that her husband will probably kill himself if he finds out about this. Don Murray doesn't want his wife to find out about this, and Ted, he has a family at home, and he doesn't want to lose his job. So pretty much Don Murray has all the power here, and after the whole incident, he gives them the raises. But the thing is, like, what happens is Ted, to the promotion that he gets, in order to do it, he has to take this drug, and that's another thing about 10th of December, or Stories from the 10th of December short story collection by George Saunders, is that a lot of these stories, they're kind of like futuristic in terms of science. Well, they're all futuristic. Well, I'll take that back. They're not all futuristic, but a lot of them have concepts and certain things in them that are not usual, or just they don't seem usual to me. Escape from Spiderhead in this story collection is a great example of that. Very scientific, and even though this is like a medieval theme park, the fact that the actors or the people in these plays have to take drugs to perform, it's not them kind of like just acting, it's them taking drugs, and this drug is kind of like specifically made to make them perform. As soon as you take it, you are dropped into this caricature of something, and you are that thing. So when Ted takes his drug, he becomes more chivalrous. I think I'm saying that right. Chivalrous, okay. And pretty much he becomes this like knight, and since he's a knight now after taking this drug, now he wants to defend Martha because Martha, if you're a knight, you want to protect the weak, or you want to save victims, and you want to be a hero. So even though Ted, in his normal state of mind, agreed to this promotion and agreed to keep his mouth shut, Ted, in the state of mind of being a knight, it's a whole different thing, and pretty much he doesn't keep his mouth shut. He reveals this to a bunch of people at the theme park, and at the medieval park, and pretty much Ted gets fired, and Martha's secret is out, or not really her secret. Her being a victim is out, and Don Mary is outed. But like, we don't really get anything of like Don Mary being fired or prosecuted or anything. It's just like Ted gets fired, and Martha's secret is out, and the town, because they live in a very small town, and word's gonna get around, and people are gonna start to talk. Martha's secret gets out, and that's kind of like what she's worried about, and she's worried about her husband and that he might kill himself over this, because Martha and Ted's life, they're just not good. Their houses are falling apart, their families are falling apart, and Ted's family is a mess. His dad has a bad back. His family they need medicine, they need surgeries, they need medical attention, and Ted was the only one working, and pretty much he gets fired. So his family has no income coming in at this point. Their house is in bad condition. So after Ted gets fired, he's like, man, what am I gonna do? My family's just screwed here, and Martha's life is screwed. Ted's life is screwed, and it's all because of this fiasco that took place. And the thing is, like, I don't personally blame Ted. I blame his promotion. If Don Mary didn't give him the promotion, he probably would have kept the secret, and I guess Martha would just remain a victim. That, see, the thing is, the problem here is that you would think that Martha would be the person who wants justice, but she doesn't want justice. She just doesn't want her secret to get out. Or it shouldn't even be a secret. It should be, this victim that needs justice. But for her, the primary concern was for her husband, her community, not to find out that she was raped, and that's not right. That doesn't make any sense. She should be running away from Don Mary and seeking help. And Ted, in his normal state, wasn't going to help her, but Ted, in the mindset of a knight, helps. Well, I won't say. The thing is, like, Ted just reveals the truth in his state of mind of being a knight, but he doesn't really help her or help himself. In fact, his outing of what happened to Martha just ruins both of their lives, and their lives are now worse off. So, this is a very weird story, and the ending is weird, and it just, it leaves you with a lot of questions. It leaves you with a lot of questions, and kind of in the place of, morally, Ted, he didn't choose to do it. He was under the influence of the drug. Ted did something that was morally right, and that's supposed to be right. But because of how Martha reacts, and because of the punishments that Ted and Martha receive, they lose for going after Don Mary, who took advantage of someone. So this is really, I don't know. Again, this is supposed to be funny. I'm not finding the humor in this, but maybe it's just me. I'm really not finding the humor in this. I guess from my perspective, I don't find it funny, but for some people, this is a funny story. In terms of analysis, in terms of deeper meaning here, my Chivalric Fiasco is, it's kind of like, it feels like Ted did something wrong, but it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. But maybe I'm looking at this in the mindset of the 21st century, of the 2020s, maybe. You know, maybe that's why I see it like that. Because what Ted does, you know, going after Don Murray and what he did to Martha was right. But the punishments that he receives make no sense. I mean, losing his job for telling the truth, his family just being cast into darkness for doing for Ted doing what's right, it just makes no sense. Which is something that you don't see in literature or television, because usually heroes or people who do what's right, they usually get awarded, but not here. Which, I mean, I guess that says something about life too, because sometimes you might do what's right and you don't get awarded, you get punished. I mean, you know, sometimes, like, let's say you're that guy that stops to help somebody change a tire on the highway, then who you tried to change a tire for ends up being, you know, a killer, and you were on the list, or you become a person on the list. So sometimes you might try to help people with the best intentions and you end up getting hurt. Now again, Ted's not ultimately a great hero here. He only revealed the truth under the influence of being, because he took the drug to perform in this medieval thing. So it wasn't him entirely, it was more of the drug influencing him to do something. So yeah, I mean, Martha, again, she should be, you know, angry and horrified and, you know, trying to get justice for herself, but she was more worried about the town gossip and her husband finding out about this whole incident. So yeah, I mean, Don Murray is just a dirtbag, and he just wanted to pay Martha off and give them a bunch of subsidies to just save his name, save his job, and keep things moving along. But I mean, I guess he gets what he wants, because we don't really see any repercussions for Don Murray. So yeah. But I mean, George Saunders works. That's the, you know, the basic view of what happens within you know, My Chivalric Fiasco by George Saunders, and what happens to Ted. Ted, I mean, his story just ends badly. Martha's story ends badly, and Don Murray, we don't really get anything for him. He just fires Ted. So I mean, one can assume that he just goes back to his normal life of being boss of this theme park without any repercussions for what he did. Yeah. Well, that's my summary analysis of this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.